Hey, what's up, everybody, on the Facebook Chainlink community? Recently, I posted this post, and a lot of people besides this Curtis Nelson guy was just wondering how is this bullish, and did I just learn how to read charts today? It's got a lot of comments and stuff, and people were like, I would really like you to do an explanation because even though you try to explain it in the replies to Curtis here down below, I still just don't get it. So I'm going to kind of just explain to you what I'm seeing and why I said this chart was super bullish. Um, Before I begin, I'm just going to agree with most of you guys who are probably already watching this video and say that technical analysis is not, a crystal ball. But it's never supposed to be a crystal ball. It's a common misconception that people who are new to trading, or especially people who are new to crypto, feel like, oh, this guy does all these charts and all these lines, and look at these graphs, and it goes green bars and red bars and lines, and look at all the lines, and obviously it looks sophisticated, so obviously it must be smart, so obviously it must be true. It's not necessarily the case. You should look at technical analysis as just a way to try to gauge what could potentially happen next. That's it. It's a gauge to see what could potentially happen next. And even if something is setting up to look like it's going to happen, the opposite just might happen to say, fuck you. So that's the reality of it. But even though that is true, a lot of the times, the technical analysis, it plays out. More times than not, it plays out the way that the charts say it's going to play out. So let's begin. As you can see, this picture right here does not look anything like what I'm showing you now, and that's because I turned off a bunch of these lines to just kind of clear things up for us a little bit, make things a little bit easier to check out. So to begin here, we're just going to first notice that we are looking at the Chainlink US dollar chart, and we can see that we're looking at a 3-day chart. So this means that every single price candle here represents 3 days of price action. So the first thing I have here for us are these two patterns that we are kind of inside of. One of them is very strong and the other one is not as strong. The strong one is going to be this white one here, and the not so strong one will be the yellow one. The reason why the yellow one isn't as strong as the white one is because with this yellow line, we only have two contact points. We have a contact here to indicate that this was the current top, and then we have another contact here just showing us how to draw this trend line. Other than that, we will really need a third contact point, maybe up to about here. If this next bar popped and went to about, here, then that would be a third confirmation point showing us that this is indeed a very true trend line that should be watched for trading reasons. But as of right now, we're just kind of keeping it on our eye, and I might even just, do something like this to turn it into some dots to just kind of not make it as bold and significant. The main one we really want to focus on is going to be this white one here. As you can see here, this white one, we have a resistance point right up here on this 10th of August, and I can even zoom in a little bit more for us if you need that. So as you can see, we went right up to this line. Boom, resistance. And then the very next 3-day set, we actually bounced off of this line and went up. And then the next day we went down. And we did kind of go down a little bit lower than this line here. Again, it's just a general estimate. It's not supposed to be super duper perfect, So we kind of broke this line and did a wick below. And then the next bar, as you can see, we went up and we wicked above the line, but then we got rejected and we had to go back down. And then the next day we went up and we wicked. As you can see, we wicked up to that line again and we got rejected again. So we went back down. And then over here, even on the bar, we wicked above it and we got rejected on the next day. So we went from this day to this day cycle, we went up to the bar and had a nice run up. But the next cycle, we couldn't break above and keep going upwards. We got rejected by this line. So we had to go back down. So this line is a very strong line back here in the past, as we can see. All the way from the 10th of August up until the 31st of August, it showed us the resistance, resistance, resistance. 3, 4, 5 times it was resistance, and not just on a daily candle, but a 3-day bar candle. Okay. Another reason why this white line is kind of important now is over here on the 23rd, we went right back up to this line. After we had our massive correction, we entered an uptrend. As you can see here, I could draw another little line right here just to really try to show you guys like the sort of up channel that we were in for a while. Let me just I don't have a mouse with me. I'm using the trackpad, so sorry. As you can see here, we're kind of in this little up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. We're in this uptrend here, right? And you can see it's got, is hitting off of it. And when we broke through this uptrend, as you can see, we're venturing further and further away from this bottom white line as we're going on this uptrend, especially around this area. We're going upwards, and we broke that uptrend there. And then let me just go ahead and delete this off of here now for us. And once we broke it, we went up to the white line again, and we wicked to this white line. And we've done this so much in the past. We've wicked up here to this white line. And what happened? We got rejected. And it wasn't just any type of rejection. We got rejected all the way back down to this white line again. Look how many times this up support line is showing us that we're setting higher lows. We're not, if this was a downtrend, if this was very bearish, we wouldn't be, with every drawback down, you see we go up and then we go down, then we go up, and then we go down, and then we go up, and then we go back down. But every time we go down, it's higher than the last down. We're setting higher lows than we have in the past. So that is very, very bullish for us. Uptrends like this, when they go into these channels, they typically do break to the downside. So as you can see here, once the channel reached this peak, it tried to have a breakout, it failed, and that caused a correction. That's a very technical thing. Most of these ascending channels, let me type in an ascending channel here. Check it out. Like this one broke to the downside. This one looks like it's going to break to the downside. This ascending channel here, where'd it go? I did not click that. Ah, yikes. Sorry, you guys. Sorry. This one right here, up, down, down, up. Down, then it went sideways. So most of the time, an ascending channel means we're going to break to the downside, and a descending channel usually means we're going to break to the upside. That's just what it usually means. It doesn't mean it's always going to happen, but most of the time, a little bit more than 51% of the time, they play out the way they say it's going to play out. So why is this line important here? This white one. Why did I say this was more important than the yellow one here? What does this really mean? So this is what we call a ascending triangle. You can see it's a flat top up here and a ascending trend line going in an upward direction. These are very, very bullish, you guys. These usually break to the upside more times than not, and they don't even have to get about no more than 80% filled. So maybe around this point right here, when it's getting kind of close, around the 28th of January, we might see a potential breakout above $16.50. That is just a rough estimate. I am not trying to tell you on this day this is going to happen. As you can see, the trend line can go all the way over here. Maybe we could break out to the downside. What if a whale comes in? What if Sergey goes on Twitter and says he quits Chainlink? Everything can change, right? But I'm digressing, I suppose. Let's look into a ascending triangle here on Google. As you can see here, ascending triangle, even Google will tell you, ascending triangle, they break to the upside. Like right here, ascending triangles are bullish formation. They break to the upside. Look at the pattern. Rising with a flat top. It coils inside and breaks to the upside usually. Look at this. This one had a massive uptrend, boom, and then it's forming that triangle. This right here looks kind of like Chainlink now. We went up to it, kind of broke out, and then we're in this thing. Okay, maybe not so much. It's not as pretty as bouncing, bounce, 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 bounce. But it never really looks exactly the way it does in these pictures here too much. The main point is we are definitely validating this top trend line, and we are definitely validating this ascending trend line. So we are in a ascending triangle. And that's why I said we're bullish, is because we're in this ascending triangle. There's really nothing more to it. And not only are we in an ascending triangle, if we were to turn this off, and let's just pretend like, it doesn't extend all the way out here. Excuse me. This is a symmetrical wedge, you guys. Symmetrical wedges are about 50-50. If we come here and to look at Google for symmetrical wedges, they really don't tell us what's going to happen, more than, give you an estimate of time. It gives you an estimate of how much time do you have before something happens. Usually they break to the upside or break to the downside, but they don't go sideways for the most part. For the most part, it does not go sideways. It can. I'm not saying it can't. It definitely can, but for the most part, before the symmetrical wedge ends, it will more than likely probably break to the upside or break to the downside. How do we know? It's going to take a lot of other things we have to take into consideration, like community sentiment, macro fundamentals, partnerships, who's actually using the technology, and at the end of the day, just the community just getting FOMO, retail getting FOMO, right? That's going to move the chainlink market. So hopefully this explains a little bit on why I said this was bullish. Oh, and I forgot one other thing. We have an estimated moving average right here. And check this out. We are bouncing on a 3-day right on top of that. We're using that 21-day estimated, I mean exponential moving average. Sorry, I said estimated exponential. We're using this 21-day exponential moving average right here, as we can see, as support. We're not even going back down to the white line again this time. We went down on this 3-day cycle, and on this 3-day cycle, we basically went down to this white trend line. We didn't do it this time. We went down to the we're catching ourselves. You see, we're kind of catching ourselves on this 21 day. We broke the 21 day and we went down to this trend line. The trend line gave us the support we needed to go back up to the 21 day. Now that we're back up on the 21 day, hopefully we can keep on going back up, either until we get to this symmetrical trend line, or until we get to the top of that ascending triangle. And I have way too many hidden things on here, so I don't know which one I just turned off. Was it this one? No. This is going to be crazy. Sorry, you guys. Let me find the right one. So here's another one here. This is just kind of in the middle. As you can see, this has been a point of contention a lot. After we broke to all-time highs, when we started going down, we basically went all the way back down to this yellow line here again. Um, and then we use this line as resistance multiple times. This line was even an indicator showing you that we were going to possibly have a breakout and run a little higher up to this point, because you can see we had resistance here again twice on a 3-day. Again, a 3-day is more significant than a 1-day or even a 4-hour. It's a lot more in depth. Um, so we got rejected, and then that created our uptrend line right here at the bottom. And we use this. We went back up to the line, got rejected, back down, went back up to the line, wicked above it. Then the next day we had a breakout. After we broke out, we had a test. We went back down to test it out after we broke above. As you can see, we wicked right back down here. And then we basically wicked again, kind of beneath it, but as you can see, we had a close above that yellow bar there. And after we had this kind of, mini bull flag, if you are familiar with the way bull flags look, we had a run up. We bull flagged down, used this line as support after it was resistance multiple times, and after that we had another run up, and we ran all the way back up to initiate our second point of contact for this trend. And this point even matches right here, these previous points, which is right here on the 31st, the 28th, and the 10th. So, I mean, there's a lot of ways you can really read these charts, and there's a lot of ways you can interpret them. You shouldn't just look at a chart and take whatever someone says online and say like it's gonna happen. That's not the way it works, you guys. But I'm just trying to help you see why I said we are bullish. So if I can get my other trend line on, here it is, to complete our triangle. Um, you can see here it ends on the 20th of March. So we could stay in this pattern all the way up until the 21st of March. I think we're probably going to break out a little bit earlier above this $16 mark, but that's not even telling the story for us breaking out above 20. It's just kind of an indicator telling once we break this point, it was telling us that we're going to be gearing up and getting ready to shortly probably break this $20 mark. That's all this really means. We could, according to my brush, let me see if I can find it up here at the top again. We could do something like this, just stay on the bottom side of this line all the way up until the end, and then break it at a weird parabolic ramp. And again, kind of do that again. I don't know. I just drew this on here for fun. Do not take this seriously at all. And don't take what I'm saying seriously at all. I do this for fun. I don't have a degree in this stuff or anything like that at all. I just like to do this in my spare time. So hopefully this was fun to watch. It was a little bit longer than I thought it was going to be, but just from only a technical point of view, that's why I'm bullish on Chainlink. I didn't go into all the other great, amazing things that Chainlink has going on for it, like the technology deco. Um, so there's so many things going on with Chainlink. You guys, if you think that we are bearish, um, the charts just don't show that we're bearish. We're literally in an ascending triangle. That's not bearish, you guys. And on top of the ascending triangle, we're in a symmetrical wedge, which is, kind of a 50-50 thing. So we're not in any type of bearish patterns. So on the technical side, from just charting, it doesn't look like we're in bearish. And then if you go to the community sentiment, they're all YOLO moon boys over there, and Chainlink keeps constantly coming out with brand new partnerships, and they're now starting to cement themselves as the standard, the Oracle standard. The World Economic Forum just said that Chainlink is literally going to be the bridge of legacy financial systems to um, legacy 1.0 financial systems to the 2.0 financial system world with the blockchain. Is going to allow interoperability from one blockchain to another blockchain. There's so much going on from a macro point of view um, and fundamental point of view, aside from just the technical point of view and price action, that's showing us that Chainlink is bullish. So even if you didn't read the charts and you're just a community sentiment and a news guy, even the news is telling you that we're pretty bullish. So you got two forces telling you we're bullish. You got the news and the partnerships, that's one force. You got the charts, that's another force. And then you have community sentiment, that's the third force. You have like a literal trifecta telling you we're bullish on Chainlink and we are above the the look at the resistance that we had here, you guys. So much resistance. We went above it and used it as support. We're using this line as support and the 21 day as support. Like, come on.